The New Year's Eve. Once upon a time, there was a poor pack horse leader who lived in the country. It was New Year's Eve, but there was no work. So he decided to return home without a load on his horse. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a beggar who lay in the shade of the pine trees that grew along the highway. The pack horse leader loaded the beggar onto his horse and took him home. He and his wife spread a straw mat on the dirt floor and carefully laid the beggar onto it. Then they covered him with straw matting. They had no food to give the beggar. Hence, they built a good fire by him. The next day was New Year's Day. It was almost noontime, but the beggar did not get up. The man and his wife called him. The beggar did not reply. When they pulled off the straw matting, they were shocked. Instead of the beggar, there was a lump of gold. The pack horse leader became a rich man. The Jizo with sedge hats. Once upon a time, in a certain village, there lived an old couple. The old man earned his living by selling sedge hats in the town. As usual, on New Year's Eve, he went to the town to sell his hats. But he could not sell even a single hat. Tired, he loaded the hats on his back and decided to go back home. On the way, a storm came up. The Jizo images in the middle of the field seemed to be cold and wet. He took out 6 sedge hats and put them on the heads of 6 Jizo images. When he reached home, he told his wife about the Jizo images. As the new year approached, the old couple could hear the sound of sleds and the voices singing. Who put on the sedge hats? Soon, the voices that sang came closer. The old couple ran to the door calling, "Here we are!" They were amazed to see the bags of treasure lying at their door. At the distance, they saw the Jizo images going away. The Sparrow Shrine. Once in Yashu, there was a strange man who always boasted that he could swallow a manju in one gulp. His neighbor, a bad man, knew of this man's weirdo. So one day, he put a needle in his manju. As usual, the man ate it in one gulp. He felt a severe pain in his stomach. Quickly he went to bed. Lying on his bed, he looked out of the window. A sparrow repeatedly came to the leek patch, eating the tops. The man watched it every day. One day, he saw, coming out of the sparrow's tail, a small piece of needle wrapped around with a leek. He thought, if I also eat leeks, the needle would come out. When he ate many leeks, the needle actually came out and his pain disappeared. The man built a little shrine which he called Sparrow Shrine. The Defied Guildheads. Once, a fish seller in Tosa province was going from the beach to a village back in the mountains to sell fish. On a lonely road, he noticed a copper pheasant caught in a net among the trees. He wanted that bird, but he thought, it is not right to take it without paying. He took out the pheasant. In return, he took 3 gilt heads from his basket and put them in the net. Then he carried the pheasant home. The villagers who came along thought it very strange that gilt heads were in the mountain. They thought that it was a sign from God, and so they built a shrine there. They worshipped the 3 gilt heads and called the shrine Kurodai Shansho Gongen, meaning the temporary manifestation of heaven in the 3 gilt heads.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.